We've been suffering, but we will reward your patience with some good racing, I am sure. Currently, Viking Dog, no change at the top. Viking Dog leads Ryan and BX Royal. Caplero continues to defend from Marco in 5th position. This is still the tightest battle where the points are paid. Hopefully, we will be all good for you from now on. Aero trying to defend here from Marco. Will Marco make a move? There's only a few minutes left to go for our 15-minute race, our sprint race. Down into the Casio Triangle. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous circuit of Suzuka. Likewise, brilliant camera angles that we enjoy here from Gran Turismo. Here is Caplero then, looking for an opportunity on BX Royal. He's going to dive down the inside into turn 1. Hope that the car sticks and grips. He braked very, very late, and it looks like the Ferrari is going to be able to hold off this maneuver, but Caplero hanging around the outside just about makes it stick. There goes BX Royal. Now having to defend from Marco, but Caplero getting himself up to the provisional podium. Great move on the start of lap 7 for Caplero, getting that Mazda past the Ferrari. It was sketchy, it was a late lunge, certainly very, very late on the brakes, but he just about hung it out on the outside. Good positioning and brave maneuver from Caplero, who puts himself into the provisional podium and a possible double podium here for Team Mazda. Defending into the hairpin as the Ferrari goes the long way round. Now we've seen that there's grip on the inside and outside exit of the following corner, but BX Royal in the Ferrari now on the defensive. Just got the nose ahead, which is all important on the way into Spoon. Should be able to dictate his own line now through the Spoon corners. Doing a good job as Marco gets a good exit too. Viking Dog still leads from Ryan, and it looks like Caplero just inching away from this battle now for 4th position. Marco, is he going to peel across to the inside as we ride on board with Marco, looking to see, can he make the move? Stick down into the Casio Triangle, not this time, but he did see the Ferrari get jumped on the way into turn 1 on the previous lap, so that may present itself as an opportunity for him coming up. Let's see, getting a slipstream, but so is the Ferrari off the Mazda in front. We're down to the final minute of the sprint race, so I think we will see this be the final lap. We shall wait and see, of course, but looking for a way through. The Ferrari missing the apex, the Mazda getting out of shape, but then so does the McLaren as the soft tyre deck starts to really bite. No way through just yet as they vie for position once again. It is there are millimetres between these drivers and between themselves and disaster. So close to the edge, but the opportunities for a classic overtake here at Suzuka are very few and far between. A lockup perhaps on the Ferrari, but he just about kept it pointed in the right direction going through the Degnas, and there is Caplero ahead, but Marco going for the outside move around the hairpin. The Ferrari will be able to govern where he places the car, but they will go side by side. There's no room to run him round, and around the outside goes Marco into 4th position. BX Royal deposed down from third down to 5th in the matter of 2 laps. He's got limited opportunity to get back at this on this one. No sign of Iggy in the top 8 at this stage, but let's check in with Viking Dog, who is coming on down into the 130R, just coming through the back stretch. in what I have to say is now my favourite liveried car of the entrance so far, through into the Casio Triangle for the final time. Let's have a quick check on the other drivers. No challenge coming up, but for the first position, the first win of season 9 in the sprint is Viking Dog, and Raya-chan will bring the Renault into second. A double podium for Mazda as Caplero completes the podium. Marco, BX Royal, BR4, your top 6. Then comes Svanderspek around the outside at the final corner. Mackey's bringing the Genesis into P8, and followed by Sick Boy and Zerbo, with Mighty Iggy actually dipping below the top 10 into 11th. Owen Williams in 12th, CMP in 13th, Simeon 14th, and Lars will bring the car home in 15th, but the main consolation for him will be the pole position for the reverse grid feature race, and there is the back at least of Viking Dog, and that is what the view that most of the drivers had today of the sprint race, the back of Viking Dog. Congratulations to him and the Mazda team for taking home the very first race victory here of season 9 in the championship. So plaudits go to Viking Dog, but still plenty of racing to come. For our feature race, of course, we're going to need 5 minutes just to get the cars organised. But tell me if you enjoyed that one. Tell me what your highlight was, top overtake, and especially let me know what you think about those liveries, those new liveries and vehicles in operation. Where do you think each vehicle will have its relative strengths and weaknesses, and where do you whose livery do you prefer? Who's your pick for the podium here in the feature race as well? Will Iggy bring himself forward more successfully than the previous sprint race there? Will he get himself up onto the podium? He can usually manage a podium from the back when he's starting, but it looks like we've got some extra speed from the rest of the field. Viking Dog, Raya-chan, Marco certainly coming into the league with some speed, but also, of course, Caplero, who completed that podium in the sprint race. They will be at the back, though, and obviously Iggy will have a slight advantage of starting further forward in the front half of our field. We'll be underway for our 40-minute race for you very shortly, but don't forget to say hello, and I'll do my best to give a shout out as we get underway. Owen saying he got murdered by a Genesis in the race. Every first sprint of the season he's been murdered apparently, but he's back for more, so he can't dislike it too much. I'll just keep my eye then on the chat room. Caplero congratulating Marco and BX Royal for a good little bit of racing between the two of them, the three of them in fact, for that finish. It was very cleanly fought, and Caplero coming out on top of those three rivals. Of course, plenty of opportunity for them to reorganise that particular order and get their fair and racing retribution. It's very sporting league, Aero League racing, so there's no foul play takes place, but they will want those bragging rights as they continue to chat through the week in between races. In fact, let's talk about the races of this season. A very interesting calendar coming up for us. Of course, Suzuka for round 1 and Catalonia for round 2. We go back to Japan again. It's hardly efficient in terms of sustainability with our moving around the world. We go to Japan for the Autopolis circuit. Then a double Italian header, Sardinia on the 29th of May, followed by Monza on the 5th of June. Croatia's Dragon Tail Gardens on the 12th. Then the Nürburgring Endurance Circuit on the 19th of June. Finishing nice and easily, I think, at the Red Bull Ring in sunset conditions on the 26th of June. So that is our 8-race championship to crown our season 9 champion. Just waiting for the race to begin, of course, as the reverse grid is being organised by BX Royal, I believe, who is hosting the session today. You get a little preview, of course, of everybody's entries and liveries on the right hand of screen. You can see the different. You can see the racing order and certainly the three-quarter view at least of those liveries. 40-minute feature race on its way for you. Looks like we're going to continue with this evening setting. We may be full night conditions by the time we get the race started, and especially get it finished, as some practice is underway. So we will get the notification that we are going to be underway for you shortly. Of course, I'll rest my voice for a few seconds here. So let's get going for the race. For our rolling start, it will be reverse grid feature race of 40 minutes. Lars, who finished last, of course, in the first race, will start us away from the pole position. Zimmy in second with CMP in third. Iggy down into fifth place, hoping to move forward. Lars is on mediums, so is Zimmy, CMP, Owen and Iggy. And we get the green light to get racing, and of course following the rolling start, a nice easy straightforward start at the front of the circuit, but further back we've got a lot of action going on down into turn 1. 10th place McLaren of Svanderspek, I think, heading down the inside of BR4 is that in the Huracan. It is an overtake already there for Svanderspek away from the start. Beautifully timed start there as our erstwhile podium sitters continue in 13th, 14th and 15th position. But Lars is heading the field in the Jaguar F-Type from Zimmy in the Renault. CMP in the sister Ferrari now in third position, with Owen Williams in the Martini Peugeot looking very, very racy as they head down towards the Degners. Oh, very super close from Owen, almost getting the front wing touching the rear wing of his rival in the Ferrari in front, CMP, but Iggy on the offensive as well. So Owen looking to make headway early on, leaves the door open to our double champ Iggy to the inside. That might be a mistake, as Iggy will try and go around the outside of 200R towards Spoon Corner. Owen just opening the steering, discouraging that move, and Iggy looking for room, but will he be more patient than the last race? He looks to the outside. There's very little grip, lots of marbles on the outside of Spoon, as they are on the outside of nearly every corner here, and a big wiggle from Iggy on the way out of Spoon 2, but it looks to have not lost him a great deal of momentum as they both passed the Ferrari. Clearly, I think that must have been a penalty, as Iggy managed to gain more out of that run through, and Iggy gaining 2 places up to the provisional podium already at the end of lap 1, and Lars and Zimmy getting down the order safely. Owen just tucking himself ahead of CMP's Ferrari that time, who is now on the defensive from the Peugeot in the different livery there from Zerbo, who gets himself up the inside, and Zerbo looking to depose CMP by a further place. He's got the overlap, he's got level with him on the way into turn 1, leans on the front axle, tries to find some real estate on the track, and just about manages it. The Ferrari absolutely being hung out to dry here in the early stages. He's offline through the S's. He's lost time, but he's holding on to 6th place for now with the Jaguar of Sick Boy trying to find his way through as well. But Lars Zimi Iggy is your provisional podium at this stage on the racetrack. So we've got a very different mix of nationalities riding through this one that we had at the start of the earlier one, as the Jaguar puts himself in that dangerous outside position, and there it goes, Sick Boy down the inside in the down goes Mackey's down on the inside in the Genesis Gherkin car of the Superdry Genesis, sister of Iggy's car, and a really nice run through the hairpin as well. Looks like he's going to get ahead and brings himself up to 6th place, so nicely done. And he's got good momentum as well, trying to use the inside line through 200R. It is much shorter, it's a very long corner, and he gets himself up as well. 2 places gained. Further back tries the Jaguar against the Ferrari, and the Ferrari just can't find his room on the racetrack. CMP now down to 9th position at the midpoint of lap 2. An absolute nightmare for CMP. This is reverse grid racing at its finest, of course. No one off the circuit too dramatically, and there goes Owen trying in the Peugeot to hang on. He gets a little touch from the Jaguar on the inside. The Ferrari coming through as well. There goes CMP traveling his way to. Apologies, we've lost the lobby, but we'll try and get back in as soon as possible. We won't miss too much by way of racing, but unfortunately, just a problem here with the servers tonight. Seem to be a little bit temperamental. Hopefully we can get ourselves back in for you as soon as possible. Caplero saying he's got music playing in the game while racing and he doesn't like it. But BX Royal saying his soft tyres were dead on the last lap, so that might be useful information for us when it comes to the whether the soft tyre will be in operation. I don't know if there's been a change to the tyre wear rate calculations here from season to season, but certainly last season the hard tyre just didn't want to work for anybody in any conditions. A couple of times drivers tried it on, but it just wouldn't work for them. We will get you back in that lobby room and back on the game screen as soon as possible for the race. We'll try and track any developments. I know Caplero was looking to move forward, and I'm sure that Ferrari of CMP hasn't finished all of his attempts there. Please don't believe that message on the screen. My internet is not too poor to run. Zimi is in 2nd position then to Lars is 1st, who is hanging on to 1st position. Iggy's still in 3rd place, has caught the tail of these two. They're all on medium tyres at this stage. It looks like we're going to have very similar strategies across. Mackey's is in 5th, Sick Boy in 6th position. We've got BR4 in the Lamborghini Huracan in 7th, and Viking has made it through into 8th, but not for long as he's off circuit. And Marco will launch one up the inside into the Casio Triangle, leans on the Mazda, and it's not plain sailing. And guess who gets hung out there? It's a Ferrari. It's BX Royal's Ferrari. He won't take kindly to that after spending all this time setting up the lobby. But Caplero struggling then to move forward, as is Viking Dog. It all looking a little bit desperate. Viking Dog down the inside of Owen Williams into turn 1 this time round, but it's certainly fraught and frantic at the back of the field. And there's Caplero, overspeed around the corner, massive oversteer, saved the car. And will that put Owen Wilson offline sufficiently to allow Vikings teammate Caplero to come on through? Time will tell. Looks like Owen has managed to get his momentum back. The front three as they were, but have we got a problem? We've got a blue flag on the circuit temporarily. It's a bit early for a lapped car. I think it's just a problem with the transponders at the front of the field. That's Iggy now has managed to successfully pass the distinct livery vehicle of Zimi, who dives back down the inside in the Renault. Remember, the two distinct cars are not in the same team. It's just they just have the same livery here, racing for the distinct team, of course. And Iggy gets through into P2. Of course, more points on offer for the features, so Iggy will be trying to remain calm. He's got like a silver leopard effect on the back of that Genesis here and on the roof, but predominantly red Superdry livery. So up to 2nd for Iggy this time round. and medium tyres, I believe, for virtually the entire field here away from the start, which is the sensible choice given that you have to start on full tanks of fuel. Sick Boy 6th, BR4 7th, Marco in 8th, Viking up to 9th, and then Owen Williams in 10th. Looking a little bit active over the curbs, and then further back, Plero in 11th, BX Royal in 12th. Raya Chan actually selected the soft tyres, would you believe? He's tried to use the soft tyres from the start, and he hasn't made up the kind of places he was hoping to, and he'll be well into halfway through that tyre wear if the tyre wear rate from the sprint race was anything to go by. We are 8.5 minutes deep into a 40-minute feature race here. Fastest lap currently a 2-minute flat by BR4, and down the inside goes BX Royal. Goes Ryatran, trying to take that place of BX Royal, who's going to hug the inside, going through the snake here. The S is at the start of the circuit, and actually picking himself up a fastest sector as a result. BR4, fastest driver on the circuit so far, but Ryachan going down the inside on the approach into Degner through Dunlop and successfully making it through, running wide onto the gravel, getting one tyre or two tyres dirty, one half of the car, but he manages to complete the move up to 12th place then for Ryachan at this stage. Let's head on up the field as BX Royals, Van der Speck and CMP are currently at the tail in that order. So Viking Dog 9th place, plenty of room still to move up, but he's only 10 seconds off the lead. Marco is in 8th place, and up at the head of the field, Iggy has taken the lead, and Lars is now defending that 2nd place from Zimmy. I think we'll have an Iggy Zimmy battle at the front of this one, but no, Zimmy spinning 360, 720, 1080, absolutely all over the place from Zimmy, ends up facing the wrong way, cheeky little reset possibly, and he's totaled those tyres, and it's completely rear limited, damaged the rear of the car, can't seem to get the car pointing in the right direction. I don't know if he'll pit, but clearly the car snaking around. Zimmy ending that battle for the podium there, so Lars managing to resist the pressure long enough for Zimmy to exit from behind. Iggy then 1.1 second in the lead of the race. Apologies to Iggy for missing his race leading overtake. We're busy with the busyness at the back, further back in the field. Zerbo now in 3rd, defending from Mackies, who would love to see 2 Genesis on the on the podium here today. Very interesting headlight arrangement on the Genesis. Sort of wrap around pinstripes. BR4 settled in 5th right now in the Lamborghini. Just getting a feel for this new car, for the series. Everybody, it seems, in a new car. Really mixed up the order. Sick Boy slightly sideways out of Decker 2. Then we've got the successful sprinters here, Marco and Viking Dog. Zimmy has ended up down in 9th place, would you believe? And then Owen Williams and Plero unable to make too much movement forward. He's 13.5 seconds away from the lead of the race, and the fastest lap so far, 1:59.917 from Viking Dog, who is currently riding in 8th position. Iggy leads Lars and Zerbo. Coming up on 12 minutes into our 40-minute feature race. Viking Dog suddenly going quicker than anybody else. Maybe getting some clear air in front of him. Getting about halfway through these medium tyres now. So he'll be trying to run a one-stop. And there's another fastest lap from Viking. 59.7, going a 10.5 faster than he went the previous lap. So his gap to the leader, 9.5 seconds now. He is racing Iggy here, make no doubt about it. I think he's going to feature in the battle for the podium, if not the win, from the end of our 40 minutes. What news further back? Well, Zimi is 9th. Owen is defending 10th place from Caplero. Love the Martini livery on Owen's car, but I have to give it at this stage, unusually for me, to a yellow and pink livery, but I just think it matches the lines of the vehicle so much. I have to give my livery of choice over to the Mazda team. Doesn't have sound bad either, that Mazda. Further back then, Van der Spek is he's just ahead of Ryan now, at least, and just behind his teammate CMP. Sorry, Van der Spek has just been overtaken. I'm just getting used to these cars, forgive me. The McLaren there, Van der Spek, just being overtaken by CMP, who's managed to find a way to drive this heavily dented and beaten up 458 Italia. What do you guys in the chat watching live make of the mint green and white blend? I wonder. Further back then, Ryan is in 15th position in the Anime Renault. But here we have close-up of our double champ and feature race leader Iggy, who has not had this all his own way, this particular race meet here in Suzuka, but he's making progress. And has opened up the gap to 2.7 seconds now to Lars, who's hanging on to that reverse grid pole. But it's about to get very active here in the battle for third position, as Mackey's has got on past BR4. So Mackey's has got himself into the provisional double podium situation for the Genesis team. But I still want to be looking at the likes of Marco and Viking Dog to bring themselves towards the podium later on in our race. But medium tyres, we're about reaching the limit for the soft tyres now, so expect to see that single soft runner on his way into the pits. But for now, we'll be fairly stable for a few more laps here on the medium tyres. Here is BR4 looking all round the back of the Genesis, try and find his way through, gets the Lamborghini down the outside as the Genesis defending to the inside. This will be side by side to the outside, and there goes Mackey's taking the classic being overtaken defensive line on the way out, and just easing BR4 into a situation where he's forced to yield. There was a little move behind them, Marco against Sick Boy. Let me see. So Marco has managed to get ahead of the Jaguar, but just looks really bulky on the game relative to most every other car. Maybe the Peugeot looking a little taller, perhaps slightly more aerodynamic, maybe. BR4 tucked up behind the Genesis then, and battling for this provisional podium. He's looking a little bit leery over the 130R apex curb. Getting so close he can touch the back of third place, but it's difficult to make a move and make a move cleanly. Mackey's somewhat defending fresh air here on the way into turn 1, but indicating to BR4 that he knows he's there. How far are the distinct cars away from the leader? 8.5 and 9.5 seconds respectively. Viking Dog has dispatched Sick Boy very quickly indeed, but it's pushing hard. It's probably been through the best of those medium tyres. His teammate across constructor here, Marco, has done so much better on the medium tyres in the McLaren. We may still see the drivers pit around the same period, for around the same lap or two, for the soft tyres, because they want to use the softs as soon as we are about 15 minutes away from the finish. As BR4 continues to hassle the back of the Genesis, is trying the over-under here, but a slight hesitation maybe from Mackey's at the apex. A lot of defensive driving going on here from Mackey's to ride on board, shall we? BR4, who is only a third of a second behind the Genesis. A reminder, Iggy still leads from Lars, And this is the battle for third position. They are bringing themselves closer to Lars, despite the fact that they are battling these two. And a good exit from BR4 this time.